What is up, everybody? CP and SJ with you here for another round of picks from every day we're covering as we are into the final four here for the 2026 edition of the men's NCAA basketball tournament. And hopefully, we'll get a couple of good games and then maybe a good championship to finish this thing off. We always like to be entertained, but of course, we like to win some cash along the way. And that's what we're going to attempt to do here for you, SJ. I think we're going to give folks a variety. I think we might be a little bit different of opinion on a couple of these here, but I think this may be the round that's a lot more fun. I guess I have less confidence that the championship's going to be as exciting as these final four games.
I mean, the thing to me, when I, take a look at it, I think you could see it going any number of ways. I mean, of course, only 50-50 who's going to win, but you could see, I could see close games for one team winning and blowouts either way. So, I mean, I guess that's just the definition of the tournament and how things play out. For the most part, I guess we got teams that you thought could be here, but there's a couple that I don't think most were betting on it, other than their fan base and maybe a couple of random people out there just taking a chance on them. But should be good matchups, and we talked before. Maybe you get the I guess the potential de facto championship game, but that's the way it goes sometimes. It's just the nature of how the seating's set up.
Yep. Sometimes it doesn't work out the perfect way, but yeah, hopefully we'll get some good ones here to get us boosted into the finish here. We'll start here by just going down the run of when these games will be played. So these are, of course, both on Saturday, April the 4th. We've got a 5:09 start time for the first game, 7:49 for the second game. I've been told there's some sort of concert or some nonsense in between. I don't care about that part of it, but yeah, hopefully we'll get some good basketball to start it off. We've got the game that we think maybe is the maybe the, I don't know. I don't want to say lesser teams, but the teams that maybe not the pseudo championship game in the first one. Illinois, the 3 seed, taking on the 2 seed UConn. I'm showing in my book Illinois. Anywhere it fluctuates a little bit. I think 2.5 though is the common term right now here, with Illinois being the favorite and UConn getting the points, and then 139.5 was what the total was sitting at. SJ, what are you looking at in this game?
Yeah, I guess the surprises, if you could call that from him. But I mean, at one point in the season, Illinois was kind of thought to be that team in the Big Ten that maybe had kind of put it all together into being Michigan. But Illinois was a popular pick early in the year, and they kind of had a decent start, but a little bit of muddy waters there for at least about a month or so. But righted the ship, playing their best at the right time. Maybe got. I mean, they did knock off Houston, but you get a favorable matchup in the regional final with a 9 seed. So, I mean, that might factor in. I was really surprised that they were the favorite, not for the fact that I don't think that they can win. Just, I mean, you look at what Connecticut, kind of their road to their path to this point compared to Illinois, and just I guess maybe that's where kind of off base here as casual observers of not caring who wins is you maybe put a little too much in that last minute heroics there. But at the same time, Connecticut came back from was a 19 point or somewhere around there deficit. So, I mean, against especially one of the teams that was the favorite to win it all. So I think that's pretty impressive. So all that is for me, I was shocked that Illinois is a favorite, let alone by, almost, I guess, you got to need a 3-point win in some books to cover that number. So I'm just going to have to stay away from that. Honestly, I could really see either team winning. I will go over on that total though. 139 is what I was able to lock it in at. So I could see definitely, that's not too overly crazy high scoring. Both these teams have enough offense to get going. And on that note, I'll just throw in a couple props along with that. Karaban to get you a couple threes there. I know he was kind of off last game, but that's not characteristic of him. He's been, I think the last 2 games before that, he hit 4 threes each in those games. So look for him to hit a couple. And then Wagler to get his 15 plus points. If Illinois wants to win or compete or be in this game, he's going to have to do that and a lot more. I expect a 20 spot from him at minimum if you want to take this game. So we'll go with those couple of props along with the overs on the total, and I think it could be a good game. It's just maybe not the I guess from the eye test and like I guess on paper it doesn't seem jump out to you, but I think we could have a up and down game here and maybe a lot of points put up.
Yeah, you're right. It can kind of go one way or the other. Does that last minute run, boost you and give you the confidence that you needed to play just great from the get go in the next game? Or is it kind of the letdown, of, well, we had our moment and now we got to, come back to reality a little bit. It's one way or the other, but I don't know. I guess I have been impressed with the way that this UConn team has kind of come together at the right time. I think a lot of people kind of counted them out just because, they didn't have the run last year that, people kind of expect of them now, which is crazy. They 3 Final Fours in 4 years. I mean, that's a hell of a standard to set for yourself. But I just think they're playing well at the right time. And the little things about UConn just bug me a little bit about about Illinois, about the way they play offensively. I think they could be so much better if they did things just a little bit different. And so I think that's going to bite them here. I'm going to go with UConn getting that 2.5. I know it's not going to get you a big, return, but good enough to, I think, make a few bucks. So I'm going to go UConn getting those 2.5. And then I'm with you. I'm going to do one with Caravan. I went 3+3s. So if he knocks down 3 or more, and that was at plus 135 is what I was getting for that. So that's a decent little return for him. And I think, the moment's right for him to step up and make a few of those. So that's where I'm going in that game.
And it's 3 threes. We'll both be happy because that we'll both be cashing in there. So I'm good with that.
Yeah, that's a good one. Next game, of course, Arizona, Michigan. Yeah, what we kind of think is, to us, the de facto national championship game. I think a lot of folks would have loved to see this happen, the next one, but it is what it is, and hopefully we'll get a good game when, regardless. They both need to win to advance, so it should be just as much fun. Michigan, I'm showing as a 1.5 point favorite right now, 157.5 being the total here in this game, which is another pretty big number, but we have seen some big numbers from these teams, obviously, lately in their games. I don't know. I guess I'm sticking with what I thought from the get-go here. I just think that I feel like Arizona played the toughest schedule in the country throughout the season. They proved their worth not only by they won the regular season title and then went ahead and just won the tournament title in the Big 12 as well. Obviously had some thrilling, fun games along the way. But they're clicking. They've been playing well. I guess, last game maybe gives you a little bit of hesitation. They had a little bit of a rough first half there against Purdue, but still, I think the matchups across the board will be good for them here in this game. So I'm going to go Arizona, and I'm just going to take them on the money line so I get a little bit better return. Plus 102 was what I was getting, putting them on the money line. So a little bit extra there, and I think they win the game. And then I got a couple of props I'm going to roll with here. Mo Krivas has been a rebounding machine, and I'm going to go with him to get 9+ boards. I know that's kind of asking a lot, but he tends to get at least 8 almost every game for sure. So I think he's going to do that again here. That was a plus 140 if you put him at 9. So I like that. And then I think the dark horse here, and this is a guy that always kind of annoyed me with this team. He's one of those guys where you're like, there's all these good players, and this is the guy that's going to beat us. Karchenkov. I think he's the one that gets lost in the fray here a little bit, and I'm going to go with him to score 15+ points. And that's a real good return at plus 225. So I think he breaks out a little bit just because the focus is going to be on trying to slow down Krivas inside, or, of course, taking away Bradley and Burries and Pete. So I think he sneaks some points in there. So that's what I'm rolling with. SJ, what are you looking at here?
Yeah, I mean, coming in like making your picks to start the tournament, I was with you. I thought Arizona was gonna be the best team and kind of win it all, and I still think that could be the case. But man, it's that those 90+. I don't matter who you play, and these offensive friggin' showcases have been pretty impressive and kind of sticking in my mind for Michigan. And when you look at it's not like it's a huge number or anything. It's I mean, what is it, like 1.5, whatever, depends on books. I'm a little higher, but so it's not like it's too close to call on that one. So I just think overall they've had less hiccups. So I'll dissent here, and I'll go Michigan money line, which it's minus 125. So I'll just go, you win by a point. You don't get much more value taking that extra half point. So I'll go ahead and do that. But I mean, I guess the more confident picks in that game, because that's literally a toss-up even by the numbers there. It's not much difference between those two teams. And I guess for the maybe for my financial status, it'd be better if the Arizona wins, because in the pool that would do me better. At least for placement, move me up in the ranks a little bit. I do need that Connecticut to go down for that in that case. So, and then I'll do a couple props along with that, with another 15-point plus props like you did. But I'll go with Lindenborg. And then Koa Pete, I think he's been playing pretty well. And I mean, it's just going to be hard to slow either offense down. I just think Michigan has a little more firepower from beyond the arc, where it's a 1-5 type of thing that can shoot, and maybe a couple shots over there. But I do expect a close game, and probably, maybe one of those things we joked about, the old school ESPN Classic games. This could potentially be a hell of a game there to end the weekend and head into the championship Monday.
Yeah, I like those. I like those prop plays a lot too. Lindenborg was one I looked at too, and it's like, he's going to get his. You kind of know that and expect that. So this should be a fun game. Hopefully we get what we expect, and it's a lot of fun to watch. If you've got some altering opinions, of course, feel free to let us know. You see the handles there. That's our handles on Twitter. So you can hit us up with your picks and your plays or suggestions. We'd love if you follow along there as well, because we'll put out plays and other notes there for you from time to time as well. We'd love it if you'd like subscribe, get the notifications for the podcast, whatever platform you use. Our host happens to be at Spotify, but we can find us everywhere. And then, of course, subscribe, get the notifications on this YouTube channel, so you always get our video picks as we send them to you for different events throughout the year. But that's what we've got here, setting up for the Final Four. Of course, then we'll have the championship to get all set and ready for on Monday as well. All right, have some fun with it. Hope you enjoy the basketball. That's SJ Munoz. I'm Chris Parks. Thanks for another round of picks with us here from Every Day We're Covering. We'll see you next time for some more covers.